question is a Voronoi diagram. It's told to us at the beginning, but also as soon as you see a picture like this, you should know that it's a Voronoi diagram. And on this one, you're not told what the sites are. There isn't really any context given, but you have sites A to E or A to F, and then the boundary lines are drawn on. So the first part of the question is to find the equation of the boundary line between D and E, which would be this line here. So we can see there that the gradient, if I zoom in a little bit, is 1 or -1. We go 1 down and 1 across, 1 down and 1 across. So we actually don't need to work anything out there because we know straight away that the gradient is 1, so it's 1x, and we can see that it intersects the y-axis at 10. So it's just y equals 1x plus 10, which makes it much easier than some questions where I'd have to spend a long time trying to work that one out. So you can also just use your knowledge of straight line graphs to do it more easily like that. So the first one there is y is equal to minus x plus 10, because it's going downhill, and therefore we know that it's a negative gradient. It's going 1 down for every 1 across. And then the next point is that we have vertex x is equal distance, that's what equidistant means, from sites B, C and F. So if it's from B, C and F, B, C, F, it must be this point here. So we can label on our graph that this point is known as coordinate x. And we need to write down what the coordinates are. So for this one, we can actually just read them across. We can see there that we have 8 on the x-axis and 4 on the y-axis. So 8, 4. And then the second part is to find the distance of B to X, the distance. So the exact value of BX, which is this distance here. So to work that out, we need to use our distance formula that's in our formula books, or you can also think of it in terms of Pythagoras. So you have a right-angled triangle there with a distance of 1 and a distance of 2. This is what the formula in the formula book is essentially doing, so it's the same thing either way. So you have 2 squared plus 1 squared, square rooted, and that gives you the square root of 5, or if you prefer, you can write that as a decimal as well. This question is asking us to find the coordinates of y, so part A and part B, which is the point that's equal distance between D, F and B. So we know that this line here is x equals 8, and therefore we know that the x coordinate, or A as they've called it, is 8. But we don't know the y coordinate. So to find it, we're going to need to know either the equation of this line or the equation of this line. So if I take the equation of this line here, coordinate D is 5, 9, and coordinate F is 6, 5. So I can see that from the top of the question or from just reading it off my chart. And we know that to find the perpendicular bisector, we need to know, first of all, the midpoint. So the midpoint between those two is 5 plus 6 divided by 2 and 9 plus 5 divided by 2. So that gives me 5.5, 7 as my midpoint. I also need to know the original gradient between D and F. And we can see there we're going 4 down and 1 across. So negative 4 over 1. So the gradient of the original was equal to negative 4 over 1, or just negative 4. And therefore the perpendicular gradient between the two is going to be positive 4. Sorry, 1/4, positive 1/4. So it's upside down and we've swapped the sign, perpendicular bisector or perpendicular gradient. So now that I know the new gradient, so the new gradient is 1/4, and we know that it goes through the midpoint, which is 5.57, I can put that into what I like to call the cool formula. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So y is equal to, sorry, the y coordinate of the midpoint is equal to 7. The gradient is 1/4, and then the x coordinate of the midpoint is 5.5. So I need to expand this out. Now you can literally just write this as 1/4 x minus 5.5 and then add on the 7. You don't need to do more than that for this question. So we then need to find what is the value of this line when x is equal to 8. I've found the equation, but I want to know when x is 8, what is the y coordinate? So I'm substituting into here 8. So there's two methods for doing this. Either you can substitute in when x is 8, or we can go to our calculator and we can graph the line that we found. So the line is 1/4 of, and then it's in brackets, we have x minus 5.5 plus 7. And we can graph and see what that looks like. And then we can go to the table of values and see when x is 8, what is the y coordinate, which is, so y equals 7.625, or if you prefer, second function trace, find the value when x is 8 and you'll find the same value, 7.625. So if we go back to our exam, you can see we've written that down there, but we need to round that to 3 significant figures, so 7.63. So the y value, sorry, the x value is 8 and the y value 7.63.